Good morning, good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the call. Today is September the 8th. 8 days on September already. Where did the time go? Where did it go? Labor Day yesterday. Labor, L-A-B-O-R stands for Lord, a blessing of rest. You like that, Miss Williams? You like that one, huh? Lord, a blessing of rest. Woo, because that's what happens when you labor all the time. You need a blessing of a rest. Thank you, Lord, for that blessing of rest. Hey, first of all, before I get started, yesterday was a great call. All I'm going to say, everybody, look at me yesterday and look here, look here, look here, look here. Where's mine? I got mine. Who's got theirs? Who got theirs? Who's got their teacup? Where's the teacups? Oh, there you go, Miss Joyce Brewer. Got hers up, got hers up, got hers up, got hers up. Oh, Mr. Julian Lewis drinking from one. Who else got the teacup? There you go, Mr. Payon in Japan, Miss Marcia Carter, Miss Pat Robinson got a teacup. Dave Culver, where's yours at, Professor? All right, you're going to go get it. Okay, teacup, Miss Ismail, there you go. There you go, Mr. Darrell got his up. Uh-oh, where's the rest of your teacups? Come on, hey, Mr. Carter in San Diego got his teacup up. Y'all take your face off mute. Come on, I'm tired of looking at these mute faces. Let's see some liveness. There you go, there you go. Wow, wow, teacups up, teacups up. Yes, yes, all the teacup. Yes, 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 teacups, teacups. There you go, there you go. Wow, what a great call yesterday. I got my teacup on my desk and everybody to have it in front of you for a week. Have it in front of you so you can look at it, remind yourself you're still being molded. You're still being molded. You're still being what? Molded, molded, molded. What a great call yesterday. And before we get started, you want to get the flyer up for September 14th, sir? And I'm going to thank everybody. Miss Kohara, thank you so much out in Japan for joining us. Miss Angeline, thank you so much for joining us. Miss Belinda Batiste, thank you so much. Starting next Monday, the 14th, Monday Power Hours. Monday Power Hour, every Monday at 6 o'clock p.m., we're going to do a power hour. We're going to make phone calls, get people situated to get on the calls to follow up part 2, 3, 4, or just expose people. So it's Monday, starting Monday, next Monday, the 14th, a week from yesterday, power hour, power hour, power hour, power hour. I know Mr. Lewis has a call he does, but we're starting a power hour every Monday at 6 o'clock p.m. I'd like to also thank Celia for being on the call today. Miss Jones out there, part of crew out in South Carolina. Mr. Carter down at his desk in San Diego got his teacup. I love it. He's at his desk, got his teacup. Mr. Ryan Swallow, part of the bakery organization up in Sacramento, California. Miss Pat Robinson in Oakland, California. Thank you so much. Mr. Andrew Ramos out in Woodside, California, sir. Mr. Brian Baker, regional director out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you so much. Mr. Sam Foster down there in Dallas, Texas. Miss Darlene Evan, regional director, crew out in South Carolina. Natalie in Vegas. Pat and Frank Bowman out there in Elk Grove, California. Thank you so much. Mr. Edmund Smith, thank you for joining. Mr. David Wright, thank you so much. Ms. Caroline Baker, part of the bakery organization. Ms. Zoe Duffy, part of the bakery organization. Mr. Winston Herbert, good morning. Miss Tracy Gilmore, part of the bakery organization. Miss Hayes, good morning, good morning. Miss Sensational, Queen V of New York. Oh, there you go. And Miss Dominic Young, my favorite school teacher up in Nashville, Tennessee. Regional Director, Mr. Marvin Carter in Fresno, California. His beautiful sister, Miss Marcia Carter. Thank you for being on the call today. Marie, good seeing you, dear. There's a smile. I see it. I see it. Miss Joyce Brewer. Freddie Sherman, thank you so much. Regional Director, Ms. Evelyn Phibbs out in Fresno. Thank you so much. Mr. David Wright, thank you. Mr. Rose Guerrero, Miss Rose Guerrero and Chris King, thank you so much. Regional Director in Fresno. Mr. Dave Culver, the professor, is with us today. Mr. Dave Ransom, good sir, at Nashville. It's good seeing your teacup. Miss Celia out in Woodside. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, let's see, we got 61 beautiful people on here right now. God bless you all. Hey, as you know, everybody that does a whole month with this flyer we make up, and Mr. Julian Lewis is no exception. This is his first time doing a whole month with us every single Tuesday in the month of September. And also Miss Ismail every Monday in the month of September. Tomorrow, we got the home office of Vivid, and on Wednesday, Mr. Dwight Williams will be joining us, and on Friday, the great Mr. Michael Crowder, Senior Vice President in Florida, will be our special guest speaker. So as you know, this young man doesn't need a big introduction, but we're going to give it to him anyway. He's First time I met him, he was at his mentor's penthouse in San Diego, California. Yes, his mentor's penthouse. I did not stutter. You heard me correctly. His mentor's penthouse. And I told his mentor at that time, this young man is a special young man. He's one to be watched. He's going to do some damage. He's going to be one of the greats of the greats. And he's proven that. He also is a stay-at-home father with his beautiful daughter. I believe she's 14 and a half right now. I try to keep up with her. Great A's, good student, very good young lady. She's going to, oh my gosh, something to be proud of. He's a very strong, gifted leader, has one of the strongest organizations in the San Diego, California area. He's got the fastest growing organization in San Diego. He's also, wow, yeah, his daughter's 14 and a half. That's right. I knew I had it right. And I tell you what, he gave us some great stories. And last week, he blessed us with a, wow. Let me say this. If you didn't see it, go back to the channel, Destiny International, and watch it all. Because we got stuff dating back since October. I mean, last year. We got a lot of stuff on there. But more important, he's here today live with a new message for us. And I tell you what, if you didn't see last Tuesday's message, you missed it. Because he started on September the 1st. What is? Today is the 2nd. And today is September the 8th. Can't wait to hear what thus says regional director, soon to be regional vice president, the great Mr. Julian Lewis. Can we give him a hand, please? Come on, let's show some love. There you go. Miss Kathleen Williams, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Mr. Lewis, are you there, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. It's good to see your face, sir.
Good morning.
And thank you for that beautiful picture I saw. It was gorgeous where you were at. And I mean, and that's the great thing. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. When you've served enough people, when you continue to serve people, you have the opportunity to go out and capture blessings and be in the current moment. And I appreciate everything that you do as a man, as a leader. And I thank you for what you do for myself and my team, and always being on here and being accountable to yourself and to others. So God bless you. Thank you so much, sir. And
thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. It was yesterday for me. It was pretty hilarious. I got my mom and my aunt and my daughter. So it's one guy, 3 girls, and I kind of tricked them. I said, you know what, we're gonna watch this show. It's pretty serious. It deals with history and some things. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called Lovecraft Country. And it was, so I got my mom. My mom's quick to call something boring, right? So she's upset. She's watching it, and she's watching the first episode. And then, for those of you that, I'm not going to spoil it, but we get to the end of it, and my mom says, "Oh my goodness!" My aunt jumps out of this chair, and my daughter's laughing, and I was like, "Well, that's it." And she says, "Well, is there another episode? Can we play the next one?" So we had so much fun. She cooked her butt off. My mom did. It doesn't matter how many times I tell her, "Hey, mom, you don't have to cook. We're gonna cook." She says, "No, I want to eat what I want to eat." And if you know anything about my mom, she's big on taste. So it was great. We enjoyed the weekend together, and it was nothing but love. And guys, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about something that is so important. I want to talk about consistency, okay? So you can write down these words: consistency, self-discipline. And I've touched on that before, but I was thinking about consistency and self-discipline, and I'm like, well, what stops people if there's no physical pain? What stops people from being consistent, and what stops people from building something that can create self-discipline? And for me, it all boils down to something that I've heard every leader talk about. And I know we've touched on it, but I'm gonna touch on it from a different angle this morning, because if I can shine some light on what this really is, I believe every single one of you on here can go into consistency, can be self-disciplined, and you can start to realize your dreams. So I'm very excited about this. What I'm going to do is I want to start out with the topic of today is don't be afraid. Okay? And you're going to understand why in a second. But fear isn't real. And what I want to do is I'm going to have Mr. Jabri Clemens. He's going to play a quick, it's less than 2-minute video about this from a video, from a movie that some of you may have seen with Will Smith. But I love this part because it talks about fear, and it really resonated with me because it's something that I truly believe. So, Mr. Jabri Clemens, when you're ready, sir, we could cue up and play that video.
And by the way, while we're waiting, I also like to give a shout out and respect to the Regional Vice President, Ms. Jocelyn Driscoll, for also joining us today.
Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity, Katai. Now, do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. We are all telling ourselves a story. And that day mine changed.
So fear is a choice. Fear is a decision. And that's why I wanted you guys to see that. It's not real. Anything that you worry or are fearful about are in thoughts of something not in the current moment. It's in the future or in the past. We think about the past and we worry that we're going to repeat the same mistakes in the present, or we're worried that our best days are behind us, and it makes us sad about thinking about the future. Or we think about the future and we're afraid of what might come our way. We're afraid that 2020 is going to bring even more bad. We're afraid that there's another wave of COVID. We're afraid that we're going to have the wrong person in office. We're afraid that all these things that we fear, we're afraid to step out of the house. We're afraid because everything on the news talks about scary things. And what I want you to know is that fear is one of the most, listen to this, fear is one of the most destructive forces on the face of the earth. Fear is Satan's most powerful weapon against God's children. And so I'm not here to preach to you this morning, but I do want to share some things that are in alignment with the way I feel in my faith. And when you look at, see, I love personal development. And what I love, Mr. Thomas has talked about it. Some of the most powerful books you'll find are in the Bible. And it says that fear and the pit and the snare. And I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but that he who flees from the noise of fear will fall into the pit, and he that comes out of the pit shall be taken in the snare. So what does that even mean? See, here's what the prophet saw. In Hebrew, the pit, listen to this. The pit means a personal living hell. And the snare, check this out. The snare means a trapped feeling. And I want you to think about how many times you've had a feeling of being trapped in your situation, and it feels like a personal living hell. And what's interesting is when it comes to 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And so what we don't realize is we replace what we've been given as our birthright for fear. And fear isn't real. Fear is an emotional response attached to a negative future event. And here's what's so crazy, because I love numbers and things repeat themselves. And you see certain patterns. And ironically, one of the most repeated messages throughout the entire Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, the entire Bible, one of the most repeated messages through the entire Bible is, don't be afraid. I want to repeat that again. The most repeated message is, don't be afraid. Because I want you to think about it. It's crazy. So many people, they get to the grave and they have not done all the things that they wanted to do. So many people, they get to the point when they're in old age and they wish they could have more time. They wish they could go back. And the majority of people that are interviewed when they're on their deathbeds, they did a study. The majority of people wish that they would have taken more risks. Why didn't they take the risks? Because they were afraid. Fear steals your purpose. Fear steals your dreams. And the more you're paralyzed in fear, fear starts to change and transform you. And then you're afraid as you get closer to death, you're afraid of the things that you didn't accomplish. So in every aspect of your life, fear is governing your steps. So many people choose their path out of fear. Listen to this. So many people choose their path out of fear disguised as practicality. And I want you to think about how many people you know that are playing it safe. I remember Jim Rohn had a talk where he talked about how you could play it safe and we could keep you over in the corner and we could put a sheet over your head and keep you safe and we go and give you food and we take care of you. And he said that would be a horrible existence. You would never truly live. See, the point at which you really live is right outside of your comfort zone. Life begins outside of your comfort zone. See, my daughter, when she was born, I told, you know what, my ex and I, we decided that we were gonna make sure she tried all kinds of different foods. And I said, you know, but it's the way we approach it. And I thank God I was an ACN and had personal development. I grew up picky because my mom was picky as far as food. And I didn't want my daughter to have that. And so I would be excited. Every new thing that we would taste, it wasn't in fear, it wasn't in disgust. I got excited and I'd say, oh my gosh, this is gonna taste so good. Vegetables, anything you can think of that most people would think kids don't like, she loved. Because it was from a place of excitement and it was a place, not from a place of fear. And now she is excited to try new things. See, that's what we were built with. Every single one of you were built excited to try new things. It was the people around us that got beat up and bruised by life that wanted to protect us and through love taught us a way of fear. And what I'm trying to share with you that here's what I know about every human being. We all have fear. And I shared this on the leadership. See, every leader that you know has been afraid. But the difference is they make a decision to do whatever there is that they need to do despite the fear. That's why they're a champion. See, a champion talked about in Latin, it came from the word that was used to describe a gladiator. And gladiators were afraid, but they fought anyway because they knew that they had to fight. There is no life in fear. Fear will keep you in death. And so what I wanted to tell you is when it comes to everything we look at in life, when you realize that fear isn't real, and I shared this on a leadership that Natasha, we talked about this. When you realize, she mentioned it yesterday, when fear isn't real, then you don't care anymore. And I want to really break down what I mean by don't care, because people often confuse what not caring means. See, when you don't care, you become dangerous. I want you to write that down. I know Nipsey Hussle, before he passed, before he was killed, Nipsey Hussle used to, when people leave each other, you hear people say, I want you to stay safe. Nipsey Hussle would say, stay dangerous. See, when you stop caring, you become dangerous. And here's what I mean. Fear is paralyzing you. Whether you're afraid of what people think, whether you're afraid of what they might say about you, whether you're afraid of what might happen, whether you're afraid of what the outcome's going to be, whether you're afraid of how it's going to look when you're gone, whatever it is that's creating your fear, that's paralyzing you, is stopping you from living at your best potential. But when you realize that you're in a marathon running this race by yourself, when you realize that your only competition was who you were yesterday, and it has nothing to do with anyone else, when you start to realize that everyone in this world is messed up and some just hide it better than you, when you realize that you're living your life feeling like other lives look better, but the only reason they look better is because on social media, you're looking at their highlight reel and you're judging your own life based on their highlight reel. Listen, if you take a look at the pictures that are on social media that you say, oh my gosh, they have a great life, don't you realize that they took that picture 100 times before they found a good one to post, and now you're judging your own life based on their highlight? See, when you realize that the people that you see that are successful, the people that you see that are successful, that look like overnight successes, took a long time. When you start to realize that every single great person that you've heard of has had issues of every normal person, but they were great anyway, you'd start to realize that there's nothing special about them. And the same things that make them great, you have within inside of you. See, most of the talents that you see that people have, if you ask them about their talents, it came out of something they were afraid to do. And if they had never stepped out of their comfort zone and tried to do it, they would have never realized the talent that they had in that particular thing. And so that's why they say most people that by the time they reach the grave, they have talents unrealized. They have inventions that the world will never be able to see because they were afraid. And so what I'm trying to say today is I'm asking you, I'm looking right at you. I'm asking you today to walk away from the 95%. And what does that mean? Walk away from your fear. Walk away from it. It's freeing. And if enough people do it, you'll be an example for the people around you that they can. And some of you might be saying, well, it's hard. It's hard to walk away from my fear because you're thinking again in a fearful way. You're thinking about all the things that might mean. You're thinking about how big, how much you have to do, how many things that you didn't do, how you self-sabotaged yourself so many times, how you were supposed to be in a particular area in your life right now, but you're not. You start thinking about all these things and it makes you think sometimes, why start now? It's too late. Samuel L. Jackson started acting in his 40s. Samuel L. Jackson is one of the highest paid actors in this country because he won't turn down work, because he realized his blessing. The same Samuel L. Jackson that has done incredible movies also did Snakes on the Plane. And we could probably agree that that wasn't one of his best. But I will tell you what, he doesn't turn down work. He realizes his blessing is in doing the work. See, when you take the step, it takes one step. It takes one, whether it's a decision to get out of the bed this morning early, whether it's a decision to pick up the phone and make the call you don't want to make, whether it's a decision to call that one person on the chicken list. See, the way I realize that you can trick your brain is not by thinking about everything you need to do, but thinking about the only thing you need to do right now. Remember, fear cannot exist in the present moment. So if you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you decide to reverse engineer and break down everything and look at your goals in the planning stage, here's what I know. In the planning stage, no one's afraid, because in the planning stage, you're not executing. So there's no fear in the planning stage. You can break down the numbers. You can figure out what you need to do. You can chop it down and into bite-sized pieces and identify exactly what you need to do in each moment. And then once you've planned it out, and once you have that written down, when it comes to the moment, you only focus on what needs to be done in this moment. And when you decide to do that, you're in execution mode. See, the biggest problem is there are so many great people in the world and on this call who could be epic, who could be legendary, who could be the reason why their family doesn't suffer anymore. But they don't, because they overwhelm themselves with all the things they have to do versus breaking them down and only focusing on the one thing. You don't know how many times I've had conversations with my own leaders who have said, I got to do this, but I have to do this. And if I don't do this, then this will happen. And if I don't do that, then I won't be able to accomplish this. And if I do this, then, and they're thinking about all these things that are imagined, because none of those things exist, because they're in the thoughts of the future. And when they think about those things, it paralyzes them from doing the things in the present moment that are get them in the area that they want. Some of you have heard me say that you never want to have your fear be your GPS, because your fear will keep you trapped. See, when you think about a GPS, you want to remove that for your faith, because your faith is going to allow you to take a step. And so the first step to consistency is understanding that fear isn't real. It's reverse engineering your plan and making sure you understand your mind and how it works. See, I've talked about this before. The best way to do it is to start out physical. I know I don't like to work out. And you know what's funny? I meet people all the time on social media and in real life that say, wow, you must love to work out. Here's why they say that. Here's why. Because they give away their power. They give away their power. They tell themselves, they say, I don't love to work out. Therefore, that's why I look like this. This guy loves to work out. Therefore, he looks like that. See, because I don't love it and he loves it, that gives him the power that I don't have. See, if I just was able to love it like him, then I would be able to look like him. And so people give away their power all the time. What they don't realize is I hate working out. I don't like eating. I thought I didn't like eating good food or healthy food, but I realized this. Most of the people that are nutritionists that make healthy food don't know how to cook. So when I would taste those recipes, they tasted nasty. And I thought I didn't like healthy food. It wasn't the fact that I didn't like healthy food. They just didn't know how to cook. So what am I trying to say? You have to figure out what works for you. Only way you figure it out is in doing. See, if you're not doing, you're not figuring it out. What does that mean? And I hope this messes you up in a good way. I really do. I heard Mr. Thomas say the other day that the only way you learn how to ride a bike is by riding a bike. And it's the truth. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you want on riding a bike. We could have a a riding bike leadership Zoom where we have the best bike riders jump on Zoom and they show you how they're riding a bike. They show you how they can balance no hands, no feet. They show you how they can balance on one wheel, and you can have the most advanced leadership training on riding bikes. You can have the top producing bike rider, Miss Jocelyn Driscoll, get on here and show you how she rides a bike backwards with blindfolded. You get Mr. Thomas, the senior vice president of bike riding, to show you how he can balance with balance on the edge of the street without even having to look. You can get you can get the youngest top producing bike rider that ever rode bikes, Mr. Shaquille Cooper, to teach you on how he learned how to ride a bike. But I'm telling you right now that it doesn't matter how many people get on here and tell you their story on how to ride a bike. It's not going to help you ride your bike. The only way you learn how to ride your bike, the only way you even understand, I can't describe balance to someone who's never rode a bike. See, Mr. Thomas and I can talk about balance because he's a bike rider. See, here's what's funny. When Mr. Shaquille Cooper describes riding a bike, it resonated with me because I had been there. My question to you is, how are you ever going to understand and learn if you never get on? See, sometimes I hear people, and I can tell because I have people in my team that are similar, and I hear Mr. Thomas say, hey, it's not about what he said. It's not about what he said. It's about the fact that he figured it out. Did you guys catch that? I've heard Mr. Thomas say it. People say, hey, what does David Lowe say when blah, blah, blah? It's not about what he says. He figured it out. He didn't figure it out by asking Mr. Thomas, what do you say? I hope some of you caught that. He figured it out by figuring it out. He learned his balance. Ironically, if you watch one top person on the bike ride and you watch another one, it looks the same. But the only way each of them learn is to have the courage to get on. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I want, for more than anything, for all of you to win and succeed. And all I can tell you is, if you go through the numbers, if you start with the first one, you'll be surprised at who you are when you look up after you've broken through the 100th. My mentor pushed me to do this, and this is the last thing I want to tell you because it deals with consistency. My mentor pushed me to make phone calls. I didn't want to make phone calls. It was uncomfortable. I told my mentor, don't worry, I'll make the phone calls, just not right now and not here. All these people are here. We were in a Starbucks. I didn't want to make phone calls with all these people around. I felt like people were going to be looking at me saying, what is this weirdo doing? And so I started throwing out all these things. My whole conversation dealt with fear. And then my mentor said, Julian, let's talk about your reason. He helped me to find my reason why. And here's what a strong reason does. It helps motivate you to take the first step. People often ask, why do we have to do this reason why stuff? So, well, you don't understand how success works. Success comes in doing something new when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, when you push yourself out of your fear. And usually that needs a jump start or a push. And the reason why was my push, my daughter. And so I picked up the phone. I finally started the calls. And here's what happened to me. Like everything in life, the first call was horrible. It was horrible. I'm gonna be real, like it was really bad. It was a fast, hard no, because I didn't do a good call. And then that made me fearful to do the next call. But my mentor said, next call. And so I did the next call. It was all right, but it was still bad. By the time I got to the 5th call, I was okay at inviting. Thank God my mentor didn't leave me to do it by myself, because he had other more important things to do. He stayed there with me. By the time I got to the 10th call, I was decent at inviting. I started feeling myself. I was like, man, I'm getting yeses. This is working out. By the time I got to the 20th call, I had mastered inviting. Write this down. Repetition is the mother of learning. It also has another name, consistency. And I realized something, just like learning how to cut hair, just like as a barber in college, just like learning how to ride a bike, just like my skates. When I was younger, I didn't know how to skate. No one taught me how to skate. I was excited to skate, so I put on, and I'm talking old school. You guys know I'm 40, right? So I'm talking about the old school metal skates with the keys. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? The ones that sound like there's a monster coming down the street. And my friends, I'll never forget, I was 6 years old. My friends got skates, but they got the silent ones, you know, the really expensive ones. But because I was so excited, I didn't know to be afraid. I put those suckers on over my shoes. I went outside to skate, and I wasn't skating. Now, you know how kids walk with the skates? I was walking with them. And then I had them on all day. And after, I kept busting my butt. But after a while, I got them to roll. By the end of the day, I was skating. And you know what? My friends, I'm telling you this for a reason. My friends who got the really nice skates, you know what they thought? They thought it was because I had the metal skates. They begged their parents to get the metal skates. The next day, all of my friends had the metal skates and still couldn't skate. And they didn't understand. Guys, I hope you're catching this. Again, it wasn't the tools. All of us have the same tools. You should be good. Listen, all of us have the same tools. Are you Pat Robinson? Are you Ryan Swallow? Are you Daryl Ranson? Are you Bill Howard willing to strap up your own skates and go out there and fall and learn how to do it? Because ACN is the skates. ACN is the vehicle. And the only thing that I can tell you is this: as adults, you got to find a big enough reason. But when you do, it's game over. And when you stop caring what other people think, you become dangerous. And when that occurs, you're going to see results, and you're going to see confidence, because you're going to realize that the only person that was holding you back in your life is you. And when that becomes a reality, you'll know that the only person that can stop you is you. But that's also the only person that you need to make this happen. Fear is a choice, and so is success. I pray that everyone on here decides to choose success. And with that, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to pass it back to you, sir. I appreciate all of you for being on here. I hope you got some value out of today's conference call. Let's get out there and make it happen. The 10th is coming up fast, and there are people that need to be executive team leader, and there are great leaders that are going to be realized in 2021 that come from the work you do now. God bless you guys.
Wow. Wow. Can we show Mr. Julian Lewis some love? My God. I hope you guys are ready to lace up your skates this coming Monday night, the 14th, Power Hour at 6 o'clock. Come on, don't be afraid. Lace it up. Lace them up and be on there Monday at 6 o'clock with your list, and we're going to make some calls together like I said, to get you to 20 like he did, become real good at it. So lace up your skates on this coming Monday, the 14th, 6 o'clock p.m. right here for Power Hour. Tonight, I'll be back tonight. I'll be doing the 1 through 10 tonight, right back here at 6 o'clock tonight. Consistency and self-discipline. Do not be, what he said, afraid. Let's show Mr. Julian Lewis some love. Let's give him some love. Wow. Making those phone calls. Tonight, we're going to make those phone calls. Wow. Woo, the mother of all learning. Another name is called consistent. Wow, that was powerful. Folks, I want to thank Mr. Julian Lewis. Man, this is a very powerful message. Go back to the channel, Destiny International, and watch it again and again. If you have people on here that were not on here at work or whatever, get them to go back and re-listen to it again and again and again and again and again. So once again, tonight at 6 o'clock p.m., I'll be doing the 1 through 10 tonight right here. Tomorrow morning, we've got Vivid from the home office. Mr. Miles will be back with some more stories. Thursday, we got the great Mr. Dwight Williams with it. And Friday, we got the great Mr. Crowder. Mr. Crowder on Friday, Mr. Crowder. But more important, get on that bike and ride that bike in. Stretch yourself. Start doing the things he said today. My God, lace them up. God bless everybody. One more time, let's give Mr. Lewis a little more love. Come on, he deserved it. What a great job he did today. What a wonderful job. See you all tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. Remember, between now and then, you got a lot of calls to make.